Hey guys, Dagger here. Sorry that I missed the Monday upload. Some things had came up, and I ended up being sick for last week, and most of this week I'm pretty much sick. So if my voice sounds different, I'm very sorry. If I cough during the video, I'm gonna try and mute my mic if I can feel it coming on. Um, but anyways, uh, like I said, sorry about not uploading Monday. This will come out Wednesday, so which is today for you guys. I'm recording this on Tuesday. I was too sick, so I'm gonna double upload. I'm gonna upload a commentary, and I'm gonna upload some gameplay. So, I'm gonna do 7 Days to Die, the second episode. And I just want to let you guys know before I even start this off, and sorry for delaying it, but I do not have a video editing software of any sort right now. I'm still working on getting a new computer that can work with everything so I can actually get it, because the current computer I have is blocked for some reason from getting Premiere, which is my normal editing software. So, guys, and Photoshop was my thumbnail way. So I just want to say that I'm trying to get that sorted out right now. And why don't we get into this video? So this video takes place about 5 years ago, I'd like to say. I don't know how long really. I'm just estimating that it was about 5 years ago. Now, my brother and I, we lived in a different neighborhood, of course, which 4 years ago we actually happened to move out of that neighborhood. So, this was right before we had moved out. So, there's a house for rent, and I want to make it thought out like this. Think about a big L that our street makes. A letter L, I guess. No, not really an L, but it makes, I guess you could say, a backwards L, an L with your right hand instead of your left. And on the end of where your thumb would be is where a house was for rent. Now, this house was for rent, and these people decided to rent it. So, hey, some people rented it, no big problem. Now, one of these people were nice people, and they were great people. It was a single mother with, I think, 4 kids. If I can remember, it may have been more, but I don't know all the details to it. So my brother becomes friends with one of these kids about his age, and they start playing for a while. Well, about 3 or 4 months after these people had rented the house, my brother comes home really mad, and I want to bring up at this point that he was a really religious person at this time, just like my parents were. Now, they are not like that now. So, but what happens is, basically, he comes home, he's storming home mad. He starts talking about how this kid wanted to kiss him and make out with him, and I didn't really care about this because I was in my own stuff. I was playing GameCube at the time. So, I loved the Nintendo GameCube. That was my thing. So, I found it no big deal. And my brother starts getting mad because he stays away from this kid. But Facebook was a bit bigger than Twitter was at this time. So, my brother basically gets he gets a message on Facebook from this kid asking him if he wants to spend the night, and my brother tells him no. Well, this kid won't quit asking. He asks about 5 more times if my brother wants to spend the night. Well, when my brother says no the 5th time, the kid says, well, okay, can I spend the night? And my brother's like, no. So he blocks the kid. I get messages from the kid. Excuse me. Anyways, so I get messages from this kid asking if my brother wants to spend the night with him. And I tell him, I say, no, he doesn't. He's like, well, why? And why was his big question, why or who? And I said, because he's at a party with someone. And this, taken to note, was about 2 weeks later. He's like, well, whose party? I said, I don't know. He said, can you ask him? I said, no. Well, the kid says, why? I said, I don't know why I can't tell you, because I don't know their name. He's like, oh, well, can you ask Dylan? I said, he's not here. He's like, well, can you tell Dylan to call me? I said, sure, but I don't think he's going to listen. And that's my brother's name, Dylan. So, anyways, we continue on this story, and I think it's all good. Well, the kid ends up messaging me again over Facebook saying, can I spend the night the same exact night? He's not asking it to me. He said, can you ask Dylan, my brother? Now, I explained to him that he's spending the night with the kid. He said, well, who's the kid? I said, I don't know. He said, well, can you ask Dylan? Can you call him? I said, I'm not going to call him because I'm playing my GameCube right now. Well, he starts being all apologetic, and he says, when Dylan comes home, can you tell him to call me? I said, sure, whatever. Well, anyways, he won't quit messaging me. He keeps sending me the same stuff over and over, so I start thinking it's a troll, so I block him. His mom starts messaging me, saying, can you get Dylan to talk with him? He's feeling really sad and wants Dylan to spend the night and take him on a date. And I'm like, look, this isn't my problem. I don't know why you're bringing it up to me at all. That was my big deal, is I didn't know any reason why they were doing this. But she won't quit messaging me about her son feeling bad because Dylan won't talk to her, and I won't talk to him, and I won't talk to him. And I finally tell her, I say, why don't you just talk to my parents about it? Well, she thought it was all cute, and looking back at it, it's a funny situation looking back at it. But my brother is really mad about this, and so our parents end up talking to the kid's mom. And the kid's mom's like, yeah, he wants to take him on a date. And keep in mind, at this time, my parents were religious freaks. And I don't mean it in any insulting way to anyone that is religious, but they were hardcore, you're going to hell if you're gay, you're this, you're that. And they followed by all that stuff, church and everything. Well, basically what happens is they end up telling her that they don't want anything to do with her son, don't want, my brother and him hanging out. So, I find no big deal in this. Well, what brings me to this story is getting a message a few days ago from this kid. And, if I look back through the messages, he's got like 3 different accounts that he messaged me with, and I blocked him. Well, the reason I brought this up was because he ended up texting me again, but on Messenger. And he starts asking if my brother could spend the night, out of the blue. And I realize who this kid is. When I look back at it, I look at all those messages and I'm like, I know who this kid is. And I tell him, no, he doesn't want to. And, that's where it ended. Now, what I had to explain to the kid is that my brother is not gay. He's straight. And I'm not gay. I'm straight as well. So, but, the kid didn't understand that. And he wouldn't quit messaging me. And what made my brother so mad back then is that the kid almost kissed him. And, seeing from a standpoint of us being religious at the time. I wasn't the biggest religious freak back then. And I don't mean it in any insulting way. If you take it insulting, I'm very sorry about it, but I'm just not religious. So, and many of my friends know this. I'm not sure if my viewers do, but hey, that's for them to judge about. But what happens is this kid, no problem with him, and it's more of my brother's problem, but I figured it'd be a funny story to tell about a kid that almost kissed my brother, and everything I went through because my brother wouldn't talk to this kid. So, guys, one final thing I want to say, this has nothing to do with the video, but one of the guys I made a video about, and it was my first commentary / story, but these guys won't quit getting hit up by people because of the video. So I just want to let you guys know that not to bother either of those guys. They've solved everything. I've talked with them, talked it out. We've settled things. Everything's gonna be fine. I have my amount of respect for the dude that I said was controlling. Ends up, I was a little off. I wasn't a lot off, and I will admit my part in it, but I misjudged some of the things that he said, so I took his friends, and some of these friends, I'm not going to say their names. I don't even think I'm going to say any of their names, but I took them. I thought I could trust them. Ends up the dude is a great dude. So please, people, I know that he's going to watch this and that his buddy's going to watch this. I messed up. Alright, so it wasn't really, a lot of it wasn't true, and it was due to me believing his friends. And so I want to apologize to him, and we've talked everything out, and everything's gonna be fine. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to like, comment, I guess rate. Is that like the same as liking and disliking? I don't know. I think that was the way, or I think they said 2010 they took it off. But like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. If you do not like this video, I could care less. So, see you guys in the next story. Peace out.